Hi, welcome back to Brooksy's Bass Corner and my Essential Bass Album series, looking back at albums that in my view are essential listening for any bass player. It might be an album that sold millions of copies worldwide and thrust the bassist onto megastardom, or it might be an album that didn't sell particularly well, but cut a niche for a particular bassist to propel the band or artist onto greater things. Or it might just be a great album in terms of the bass performance. Either way, I think these albums deserve your attention, and perhaps by watching this video you might be intrigued to check out the album for yourself, and who knows, maybe it will excite you as much as it excited me when I first discovered it. Sadly, due to copyright restrictions, I can't use audio examples from the album, but where suitable I will indicate particular songs and their timestamp that I'm referring to. Also, check the description box for video links of selected tracks from this album. If you enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so you receive notifications when I post new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any comments regarding the album being discussed or the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. On with this episode's album. It's Yes's 90125. Mention Yes to a music fan in 1983 and most would have thought the band had been confined to the deep dark 70s, so it was something of a surprise when 90125 appeared in November 83. Its success and popularity no doubt came as a shock to the band, especially after their declining fortunes as the previous decade ended and the 80s began. Following his frontman escapades with the band for the Drama album, Trevor Horn took up the producer role and inspired John Anderson, Chris Squire, Alan White, former Yes man Tony Kaye and South African new boy Trevor Rabin to produce the band's 11th and most successful album in their history. However, it's an album that divides the Yes fan base with its 80s production and prog-light tendencies. The album hit number 5 in the US album charts, shifting 3 million copies in the process, and number 16 in the UK, while the lead single Owner of a Lonely Heart topped the single charts in the US, the video of which became a staple on MTV and an AOR classic. Chris Squire used a number of basses for the album, including his long associated Rickenbacker RM 1999, the green and black Jim Meridian bass, the white MPC Electra, and possibly one of his jazz basses. Chris used Rotosound swing bass round wound steel strings and Herco heavy gauge picks, rarely playing fingerstyle. For amplification, his Marshall 100 watt lead amp and 4x12 cabinet were no doubt utilised, although he may well have used some form of Ampeg amplification and recorded direct when required. The intro to Owner of a Lonely Heart is instantly recognisable. Rabin's big sounding power chords introduce the album, as not being what you may expect of Yes. Trevor Horn's introduction of technology such as the Synclavier and Fairlight is obvious, and the band never sounded so vital or commanding. Here they were in a new decade, having been through various splits, seeking a new identity for the band in the hit-obsessed 80s. Much like many bands of the time, rhythm and a big sound ideal for radio were very much the order of the day. Hold On features Anderson and Squire sharing lead vocal duties in the verses, while Squire's signature rasping bass tone stands out a mile. By this point you're very much aware that Trevor Rabin is almost the polar opposite to previous Yes guitarist Steve Howe in terms of style and tone. This very much set 80s Yes apart from the band as it had existed previously. It Can Happen, with its sitar-like guitar intro, is very much a nod to Yes of yesteryear, being made up of several distinct sections, and in Yes's own inimitable style, they managed to fashion the individual song structures into a coherent piece of music. With Horn behind the mixing desk, technology was finally at a point that could cope with the demands Yes had always placed on the recording environment. Changes is similar, with time signature changes and a mix of Rabin's AOR lyrical style and Anderson's sometimes quirky, almost vague lyrics. But never fear, Squire's dominant bass work underpins every track with authority, producing tones to die for in the process. Leave It continues Yes's fascination with vocal performance and harmonies, a line that can be traced back to their first album and which continued throughout the albums that followed 90125. Chris's bass tone is also very modern sounding on this track, but still retaining the signature Squire grind. Squire ventures across the fretboard from top to bottom on Our Song, with upper register slides on the verses and a bass mix that grabs your attention. City of Love utilises a detuned E string to produce the low D notes in the intro and verses, while some drive gives the bass some authority alongside Rabin's guitar work. Hearts at 7 minutes 43 is the longest track on the album, but that's short by Yes standards, a band who thought nothing of filling one side of an album with one track. 90125 represented a massive change in fortunes for the band, reigniting the public's interest and ensuring the future longevity of the band, while also showing that Squire was as relevant in the 80s as he was in the 70s. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications when I post up new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments regarding the video or the album, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. Look forward to seeing you here again on Brooksy's Bass Corner.